Good evening. Welcome back to Wilde Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
This week we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 27, A Race for the Prize.
Yeah. Some interesting developments.
Yeah, well, I mean, inevitably interesting developments follow lore drops like we got in Episode 26.
True.
My thing about the title is I was like, would this not be a better title for next episode? So, like, part of me wonders if, because they're taping ahead, and in theory they have the episodes titled already, was there a mix-up?
Maybe. We'll have to wait and see what next week's title is.
True.
Because that'll let us know.
Fair. Although, next week's title may have more to do with Auto-chan than the race. So.
Yeah.
But, right off the bat, we get, should we get 1 room, 2 rooms, 3 rooms?
4 rooms.
And, let's just get 1. We're only sleeping in 1 anyway. And Chetney tries momentarily to have that private room ready. But alas, everyone's like, no, we're embracing the co-sleeping.
Yep. Just threw me back to Talks Machnia with the
goose.
No, when they made the jokes about being a polyamorous group, and Grog on the leash was the submissive to Max.
Yeah, in Sangorn, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, all right, we're going back there. I'm here for it. Fern's already stated that's her goal.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was thinking about it, and I was like, what's the likelihood that Fern just, like, gives Chetney a now or never ultimatum?
No.
In the midst of the shared room.
Honestly, at this point, I don't think Fern's really interested in any. I think she's just likes to fuck with people. I think it's part of her chaos thing. She's like, Chetney's interested. I'm gonna let him do this. See how far I can get it to go.
Fair.
Chetney continues to try and impress Fern. And, I'm not sure he's not just making shit up left and right. Not just to impress Fern, but to the whole respect the alpha thing that he's got, Oh, yeah, I'm very flexible. You mean like go with the flow? Oh, yeah, both. Yeah, sure. I used to be a mime. And then later he's like, oh, yeah, statistically, with the driving.
Yeah.
He just wants people to think he's good at everything. I'm kind of thinking more than he's got this life experience.
Fair. And the rogue dip certainly helped in to expand his skills. But that's fair.
I mean, arguably, a 2-level dip in Bard would be better, because then you get Jack of all trades.
Yeah, true. But Bard doesn't come with sneak attack.
True.
They discuss planning, and the question comes up, what are we good at?
Fine line between diplomacy, which we're not very good at, and hitting people, which we're not very good at.
Yeah.
And Didn't say it in exactly the words, but basically came down to the only thing we're good at is chaos.
Yes.
Because I think the exact phrasing is they finally got lined on some things like, and this is just a lot of chaos, which is something we are good at.
Yes. I made a joke last week about Erica
The black spot.
and the black spot when she got ink on her hands.
And I thought about that joke when
Sam ended up with pink all over her hands.
Yeah, I was like, does the spot change depending on? Is it because he's a robot? It changed.
Yeah. Which made me think about you.
Good evening, Malamute.
Saying that, what if FCG killed Dancer?
Yeah.
And everybody.
Well, which we know isn't true.
Yeah. But that's what where I went. I loved who has the thing, and then everyone's like looking through their inventories, and Talison's like, see, this is what happens when we start stealing from each other.
Yep. And again, I've said it before, but Ashley is playing a satyr as a Kender. And the appropriate way to play a Kender. She's not being an ass. She's just being random. She's not sabotaging anybody.
And thus far, she hasn't really stolen from the party. It's more been the party members trying to steal from her.
Yeah.
Because they object to whatever she stole.
Yeah. Which goes with all the time confiscating the shit that Kendra ends up with. That's not yours, damn it. I'm convinced she's playing a Kender.
Fair. Well, Rose Orem stole from her too. But yeah, they hand out the TNT.
Yes.
And if I got the accounting correct, Chetney's got a stick, Fern has a stick, Ashton has a stick, Laudna, and Dusk.
I thought FCG had.
Like I say, if I got the accounting right.
Oh, yeah.
But I think...
No, he has a bomb of some kind.
I think he's carrying the bomb.
Yeah, he's
the
carrying
big
the
bomb.
bomb. Because when he was playing Transformers, they were like, the bomb is dragging.
Yeah. So, nothing bad could happen with that group of people having sticks of dynamite.
Let's see. The werewolf, the chaos, the undead, and the traitor. Yeah, no, nothing can happen.
No. Yeah.
And of course, Chetney and Dusk, the best two. Dusk we know is a traitor. Travis we know is evil. So,
I'm looking forward to Mr. igniting the stick by accident.
Oh my god.
I don't think Matt would do it because he's not that kind of DM. But I don't know. It would be funny.
I could see it happening. And it's going to depend on specifically where it is kept, what they're doing. But I could see a circumstance where Ashley is not paying attention to what she has out and what she's doing and has Mr. out and it happening.
Oh, yeah. Like
and
almost
Matt
happened
would
in the store.
go ahead and let that happen.
Yes, that he would. Yeah,
because that's on the player.
We get the let's tile the postcards and let's obsess over them.
Yeah.
And they decide that Chet is going to be the guy to do it.
Yeah.
Enhance ability, guidance. Gets a 21, I think is what he got.
Yeah.
Which I think somewhere in Travis's heart, he felt bad because it wasn't a 31, which is what he had been rolling.
In Calamity.
Yeah. But he got a whisper.
Yeah. The first of two.
Which I thought was an interesting choice. I don't think Matt has ever done that. Usually when somebody gets a whisper, it's as a result of an insight check.
It's been insight and perception both, mostly. Although investigation falls right in line with those, so.
Yeah.
And I think we know, maybe not all of the whisper, but a chunk of it with hey, these are all the same handwriting. Sure this isn't Grandma?
Well, and he kept coming back to they're in mint condition.
Yeah.
And then later on, I think he's trying to see if she made them.
Yeah. Yeah, when he asked about the paints.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was the thought that went through my head. It's Fern, like, this is what I wish they had said to me. And then part of her brain is like, you know, is like a coping.
Yeah. I could potentially see Nana doing it.
Yeah.
But I don't see Fern doing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
If Fern's doing it, then Nana is also completely in her head and made up. But I don't think that's the case.
No. And we know that's not true because we've got people hunting them.
Yes.
Unless it's a Moon Knight thing going on. But then Dusk would have recognized.
Yes.
Yeah, Rose. I overall, I think it was.
So the biggest evidence in my mind for Nana did it is the timing of them.
Yeah.
They always appeared after Nana and her were talking.
Yeah.
Or on her birthday. That kind of thing.
Yeah. It reminded me of How I Met Your Mother. When Barney's childhood, he thinks all these great people used to write him, and it was all in his mom's handwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They did say that Nana was a good artist as well.
Yes. Well, and on Four-Sided Die, they actually talked about how Nana and Fern are both sort of influenced by her mother.
Yeah.
Dusk propositioning Laudna was amazing. And
I had two takes on that.
I could see Taliesin doing some calculations.
Yeah.
But what were your takes? What was your take?
My first take was, okay, this is another guest star hitting on Marisha. Marisha is the go-to for all the way back to Will Friedle.
Yes.
With Cash and Keyleth.
Yeah. Yep.
Which
became the impetus for Keyleth to finally.
Yep. And then
do the thing.
Bo, had the whole string of guest stars.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so this is just a running gag, and I liked it. It was good. I liked the very awkward middle school feel to it. And then we'll get to my second take when we talk about later on.
Okay.
Because something happened later on that changed my take on it.
Okay.
With Dusk and Aurum.
I think we're probably on the same page now.
Okay.
But we get Imogen and Laudna making up.
Yes.
Imogen gives her the ring, and Laudna's like, this is so much nicer than a pencil.
Yeah.
Which means she's now going to spiral, and she's going to have to find more and more extravagant gifts to make up for it. Which will be funny to watch.
Possibly.
I loved Taliesin. Who gave you the ring?
No, you're Imogen. Yeah.
She gave you a rock. See what I said?
I'm always right. Everything's good. Yeah, that was great. That was one of my favorite parts there.
Yeah.
But then we have them fake fighting
to get FCG.
To make FCG feel better.
And Sam turned it around on him because it's Sam. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm neglecting you guys because of my shit." She's like, oh, "No.
No, see, us coming together about you." And then the whole, nope, my optical sensor Sam, the same color as I always am. And then Taliesin picking up on that when he comes to get them. You look pale.
So, there's a legitimate, emotional, psychological reason that they could all be perceiving the same thing. And that to them, he does look pale, even though to him, who is 100% accurate in his, light levels and color levels, he knows he's not. And it's the same psychological, emotional trick that humans can do with completely expressionless robots.
Yeah.
Or there's no... The Mandalorian is a great contemporary example. You don't see his face.
Yeah.
But we can project anything we want on it.
Yeah.
And so... And there are other hints that Pedro does with his body language and in the dialogue and the tone of his voice.
Yeah, the empathy. Yeah.
That people can almost say what the expression on his face is, even though there's nothing there.
Yeah.
So it could be legitimate that they all are seeing him paler.
Yeah.
Even though it was played mostly as a joke.
Yeah. I found it interesting, he's all for the flesh tongue, but not okay with me going pale.
Yeah, and the flesh eyelids.
Yeah. And the hair.
Who knew we were going to get a body horror Pinocchio out of this campaign?
Oh.
Very Silence of the Lambs. He's going to make himself a real boy. Maybe that could be the dark turn that he's planning. And the whole joke about him getting pants and wooden shoes was the start of it.
Could be.
He's very envious of the soul people of people with souls.
It's almost too parallel to not Veth, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, but I don't know that he's going to do it 2 campaigns in a row.
Well, I think it rhymes. I don't think it's quite parallel because, like, Not was a halfling that got turned into a goblin and wanted to become a halfling again. FCG is an Aormaton, was made an Aormaton, but maybe wants to be alive.
Yeah. And it could be. I think it's too close.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not discounting it, but I'm not on board with it.
If this was a horror game, I think that would be the case.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But the most interesting thing to come out of their...
Sam slips.
Yeah. And
he does it twice.
Several times.
He mentioned Cyrus.
Yep. And Delilah.
And then Delilah.
She, field, she rides horses. She was blue, I think.
Yeah.
Fur.
Yeah, so is Dancer a tiefling or a furbolg? Or is this one of those cases, because in newer books, especially in Tal'Dorei Reborn, it talks about mixed heritage and work with your DM and take traits from 2 different races.
No, I don't think so. I think the blue was Imogen, so was the horse. And Rose is right. He also mentions a moon tattoo.
Yeah.
But that's Aurum. So FCG is attaching her to all of Hell's bells. Bells, Hells. But what was interesting to me is he was under the influence of a calm emotion spell.
Yeah.
So it can't be an emotional slip. So that was the most interesting thing out of that to come.
Yeah. Which means there's more to that memory block than we know.
Yeah. And it's not just about Aor and before.
Yep. Yeah. The fur
being the only feature. And I'm not even sure I believe that. Because I think that is Fern. Or Chetney.
Could be, but the shopkeep did describe the fur as well.
Did she?
When Imogen asked what Dancer looked like.
I don't remember that. But yeah, okay, fair enough.
Because they did say in the beginning that she was a tiefling, right? I'm not misremembering that. Because remember we talked about a tiefling named Dancer that built in. Pretty sure, like back in the very beginning episodes, they said tiefling. Yeah. The shopkeeper said it too. And that's why I was thinking mixed race. Because with that and the floppy ears, which I think the floppy ears is firm. But at first I was like, for floppy ears. Is that a verbal? Wait, is it like a hybrid verbal tiefling via those rules in Tal'Dorei Reborn?
Fur on the edges. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't speak anything identifiable to me.
Yeah.
It's too little, as with so many things with FCG. So, yeah, I don't know. I think Imogen pressing FCG to send to Dancer and us meeting them is the only way we're gonna
Yes.
get any real answer.
Yes. When we finally do meet Dancer, which I think will happen, we will get the answer. But I think that I'm on board with Rose. I think it's a mixed race via the Tal'Dorei Reborn section on that.
Very possible. But the next thing that happens is Orym presses Dusk for info.
Yep.
And does it as a pretense to, you want to fight? And she accepts.
Yep.
And
that was a fun scene.
It was. And he absolutely dominated.
Yes, he did. Poor Erica, they could not get their die to roll.
Yeah, well, not just that, like, so I was thinking about this. Liam very much was using his normal attack roll.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he, in his mind, these little toy swords, probably about the size of a short sword or dagger, those are both finesse weapons. This would be a finesse.
Yeah.
And I think Matt kind of robbed Erica by saying this will be strength.
Yeah.
Rather than strength or dex. Because that's what Erica was asking. Can I use strength or dex?
Yeah. And the other thing is, if she is a hexblade, she could have used charisma.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it doesn't have to be your hexblade.
No.
So yeah, so she was kind of handicapped in that way, and
Well, that and he's a fighter, she's a warlock, so she has one attack, he has two.
Well, if they were Pact of the Blade,
and they took the invocation.
Yeah.
That's.
And we haven't seen enough to pinpoint.
Right. Well, the fact that she didn't take two attacks tells me she didn't take the invocation, at least.
Fair. Or she forgot to, and we'll play it off that she was holding back.
Perhaps.
Dusk then comes on to Orym.
So now you're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's an awkward scene.
I love it gives I'm flattered, but I like guys. I'm gay.
I mean, you're gorgeous, but no.
The ultimate, it's not you, it's me.
And that's the part. And is she just hitting on people to see who she can manipulate?
Yeah, and I was also, this is typical spycraft.
Yeah.
Test who you can seduce.
Yeah.
She targeted who she thought was the easiest, the one who's most insecure potentially, and might easily fall to a seduction attempt.
Yeah.
That didn't work. This little guy is doing things that are romantic adjacent already. He asked to fondle my piece. And now he's challenging me to a fight where he has smacked me on the ass twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still think if Orem develops a relationship with anyone, it's when if Robbie comes back and it's Dorian.
Yeah.
I think they had something developing there.
Yeah, but I think Orem is still too hung up on his husband.
Yes.
Still.
Yes, that was definitely what kept that from going further. But yeah, if anyone has a chance, I think it's Dorian.
That's fair. It kind of makes me wonder if Dusk tries to seduce Fern as a means of getting her away from everybody so that she could take her out.
Maybe. But I don't think so. And I'm going to go back to when I don't remember if it was last episode, I think it was the episode before, when we were talking, and I said I could see Dusk going to Fern and hooking up, and you were like, no, they're kind of like family, and they mentioned the family thing. I think she's going to play on that family role because Fern's longing for family.
Yeah,
rather than seduction to get her away. And
that's a better play for sure. Yeah.
That's what I think is going to be the play with Fern. Because they had the talk and they were like, and sisters and...
Does she make a... Okay, if she makes a play for Chetney, if Dusk makes a play for Chetney, it's definitely spycraft.
Yeah. Well, if she makes a play for anybody else, it's definitely spycraft.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
you could play off the Laudna as she was attracted to Laudna. You could play off the Orem as he showed me attention and I needed some,
looking for a soft landing after
a rejection.
Fair.
But if she goes after a third, then yeah, no.
Fair.
Like, you can play off the 2, but once it hits 3, it's like, no.
Taliesin was on fire with the side comments this episode.
Oh,
especially the first half. He's like, you have a shadow box of failure.
Just building a shadow box. Wooden sword lock of hair.
My summer. Yeah. So good.
Indocile. I've received worse than a lock of a dead person's hair.
Well, I mean, a slap. The Saturday Night Live skit. Eddie Murphy's playing Michael Jackson. And Bob Piscopo. I can't remember who he's supposed to be playing. But they're talking about hitting on women. And Eddie Murphy's Michael Jackson says, I just say, hey, baby, I want to jump your bones. 9 times out of 10, I get slapped, but that 10th time is magical.
Yeah, or how I Met Your Mother, the naked guy. Get to her house or your house. She goes to use the restroom, and you take it, and you're just sitting there naked. Works 1 out of 3 times, but that time it works. Figure I'm never getting a second date anyway, so go for it.
And yeah. Ashton has a Laudna-esque moment with FCG.
Yeah.
After the girls are done with them, he comes and gets taken to the room. And whereas Laudna got up in Ashton's face and was like, if anything happens to her, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Mm-hmm.
He got up in FCG's face and says, if anyone does anything to you, I'm going to fucking kill them.
And just another reason why they're perfect for each other.
And like
Ashton
I said,
Laudna forever.
And like I said, when Marisha was pulling all of her hair down, and I could just see Taliesin in the corner, the wheels spinning.
Mm-hmm.
Taking notes.
And then,
Chetney asks Fern,
yes.
Yeah, Rose. The two of them dating would be...
I mean, sticking it to Dusk is like icing on the cake for me. I just want that to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I've wanted that since episode 1.
Yeah.
That it just needs to happen.
But Chetney gets Fern to open up about a thing that she's supposed to give to her parents. A gray stone. A gray gem. And Chetney recognizes that there's something arcane about it, but not what. Part of me wonders, like we talked, is it the crown that Dusk is after? Is it an actual crown? Or is that just a title?
Yeah.
And I flash back to that discussion with that gem.
Oh, yeah.
Is that I think the moon-touched crown, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
So, or is that sort of like the central gem that will activate whatever?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And I hope Dusk doesn't get a hold of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope she doesn't share about that with Dusk.
And Chetney gives Fern a wolf and says, I had yours done first, but I couldn't find the right time to give it to you, and you've sort of been through a lot tonight, and it seems basically admitting he was going to use it as another means of getting into her bed.
Yeah.
That seems kind of, I can't remember what he said. You say gauche or something like that?
Something.
Yeah. But then we go to the break. And the first and second part of this episode are almost equal lengths. The first part flew by for me.
Yeah.
The second part did not. And I think the reason for it was there was a clear goal that we had. We were going to do boom, 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 these things. And it just felt long? I don't know.
Yeah, for me, I think it was like the first part was very engaging.
Yeah.
The second part, not so much. And I've noticed for me that tends to happen when they start planning and they spend a huge amount of time talking in circles. And I
check out.
And then I have to go back and rewind. But like for me, that's what makes it feel longer.
Mm.
I'm like, oh wait, yeah, this is still going. What the heck, We're still
I
at
guess
this
we
spot.
got a little bit of that when they were picking up the crawlers.
And when they were getting ready to go to Paragon's call, their hideout. Well, what are we going to do? How are we going to do this? Who's going?
Oh yeah, they were separating into the teams. Yeah.
So those two parts, I kept checking in and out, and it just made it feel a lot longer for me.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, for me, that I know that's what does it.
Yeah. I mean,
I do the same thing in real life. If I'm with a group of people and they're talking in circles about how to do it, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get it done while you guys discuss how to get it done. I'm done with
yeah.
My brain can't process that well.
Yeah. You guys are worrying about too many ifs and maybes. We just got to do something.
Yeah.
Let's kick this popsicle stand and see what falls out. Yeah. The funny highlight, like off the bat, was Fern wanting a gun for her monkey. The other interesting...
Facepalm funny, yes. Like, in what world is that a good idea? A, to give a monkey a gun, or B, let alone it being Mr.
I wish I had thought to make this part of the show prep, but I did not. And I'm sorry for the artist. But one of the artists I follow on YouTube did Mr. Derola. Where once Mr. gets the gun, he gets like Percy's glasses and the cravat.
Oh
and
gosh!
It was nice animation. It was good. But what I took away from all of that bit was Taliesin saying that Percy in his grave is spinning so fast he could generate electricity for Whitestone.
Yeah.
And I was like, so Percy is dead.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I mean, he is a human.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, we talked about this before, and I did my short story about Trinket.
Yeah. I mean, he was in his 30s at the end of the campaign?
Yeah.
So this is 30 years later.
He'd be in his 60s. Not impossible that he's
still alive, but also in a world with magic and firearms and adventures, and you've done so much shit to piss off so many people. Yeah, it's not surprising that he's dead either.
Yeah. The guy who was willing to trade pieces of his soul maybe did once. And
yeah. Someone's going to come to collect.
Yeah. So yeah, that was, I was like, ooh.
Sad, but not surprising.
Yeah. And maybe it's not canon, it was just Taliesin being
with his side comments.
Pithy.
Yeah.
But yeah. But they finally break off into their teams.
Yep.
They go see Ratanish.
And that is Ashton, Dusk, Fern, Wilde Shaped.
Yeah.
Laudna, and Chetney. Which, I mean, essentially the team that has the TNT according to your accounting. What could go wrong with that group?
Yes. But Ratanish sort of laughs off Ashton's proposition of contract labor.
Yeah.
And is like, well, that's cute, but I'm not, that decision is above my head.
Did it also make you think, okay, so this guy was touting himself as bigger than he was earlier?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like giving yourself a nickname.
Yeah. Which we also get confirmation of.
Yeah.
But he calls out Otohan.
Otan Thul.
And Taliesin makes the history check.
And is described exactly as the woman from Imogen's dream.
And the players lose their minds.
As I was as well. And I had Thursday off, so I was watching it live, and I was like, holy fuck. It was like, she's the. And when Lana was like, can I make a percent? I was like, please make this, please, Marisha, please.
I loved it so much that she failed. Oh, I loved it so much.
And then when she started describing it.
Yeah.
And then Dusk jumps in, changing it from the description to what she offered, and I was like, oh, Erica!
Oh, so good.
And you can see that on Laura's face, too. She was all excited. She's describing it. I'm going to be able to recognize it. Oh, you changed the subject. Why? I got to go with this, but as a player, no.
So good. So good. One of the biggest instances of dramatic irony we've had in 3 campaigns.
Yeah.
Where the players know something the characters do not. And it's huge.
And they're trying to organically seep it in. And then the one person comes and sidetracks it.
Yeah. So good. So it makes me wonder if Otahan sees Imogen, will it be the same kind of thing?
Yeah.
Will she clock her?
Yeah. Especially since the dream happened where they interacted.
Yeah.
And spoke.
But she says, if you want to work with us, you got to win a race.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, man. Well, those are expensive. So they con her into giving them a token to get a second racer.
Yeah.
And then Ashton goes to the burning mines again. And
well, before, when they're talking, one thing I just want to point out, and not serious to the plot, but for me, goes with the shipping thing. The Ashton starts telling him, hey, we were talking. And Lana just busts in. And Ashton was so great at just hyping. I'm like, oh, that's a crush. She has access to that part of her brain.
Yeah.
So that made me happy because that is the only ship I want from this campaign is Lawson and Ashton.
Yeah. I mean, they seem the most consistent.
Yes.
In dropping the breadcrumbs for it to happen. So we'll see. But Laudna gets drugs
Yes.
and an invitation. And she's like, oh, I already have someone else up there.
She has voices in her head. We can help.
Clear your attic.
So,
And she's like, and then Ashton's like, well, it might work.
yeah.
It's like, that is Taliesin knowing it's not going to be a good idea. And just going, because he wants to know what's down below.
Let's push the red button.
What's down below. He's like, this will get us down below.
Yeah. And I love that guy used to party so hard. I'm like, okay, so this is like the Burnout City clan.
Yeah.
But he does do the responsible thing, which I just love how Taliesin is playing the barbarian. It's not the anger, let's fight. It's, the intelligent barbarian.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's save that for post-game. We'll have a discussion. I'll tell you what I know, and you can make a decision.
So that's a little bit of Taliesin seeping in, because that was the same kind of thing that Clay did, that Caduceus.
Yep.
Caduceus was the trip sitter.
Yep.
And also who you got your stuff from. And Ashton is not the dealer, but he has friends who do everything, and has been around it so long.
He's the middleman.
Yeah.
We get confirmation with Odahan or with Radiant, not Radiant, Britannish, that Ashton has indeed worked for the class.
Yeah.
We had made that discussion because we talked about the mark being on his outfit, and did he work for them? Did he find?
Yeah, he mentioned it, didn't he?
Yeah, he's like, I've done some work with the class. So we got confirmation on that as well.
Yeah. So one of the things, talking in circles and planning, when they go to get the crawlers, and they're debating who's going to drive, who's going to sit shotgun.
How many are we going to put on each vehicle?
Yeah, is anyone going to do anything on the track? Nobody thought to say, why don't we go get Treshy during the race?
Yeah.
When Odahan, the leader, and probably most of the gang are going to be at the race. They only have to enter the loner, and they've got this other one that they can do whatever they want. They've got a bomb that they can get in or out with.
Yeah.
I was just like,
4 and 4.
Yeah.
2 on the loner, 2 people running ambush from the crowds, and then 4 people going in and getting Trashy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And maybe it's just that I played a lot of Shadowrun.
But, yeah. But their plan is to getting good with them, and then when they have free reign of the base, nab them.
Yeah. It's always nice to,
It's kidnapping with extra steps.
Well, the thing is like, so had they just barged in, got Treshy, got him out, it may have just been, oh, damn, they got us today. We'll keep an eye out for them and fuck them up if they come back. But worming their way in with the sole purpose of betraying them,
Now that we know Odahan is who Odahan is, I don't think it would have been that if they just went in and got him. Because Imogen would have been identified. And Odahan would have clocked that.
Yeah. I guess that's true. But again, it's a vague description if they left any survivors.
If they left it.
To describe,
and that's
Imogen would have
if
been the one.
Odahan wasn't there in person and saw her.
Well, Odahan's going to the race.
Right, but no, I mean...
So Imogen is on the infiltrate while the race is going on team, in my head.
Okay.
Like, they never crossed paths in my version of what I would do. It would be Imogen, FCG...
See, I assumed Imogen would be at the race, even if they split up when they talked about... And he's like, I don't know what Lightning needed to do, probably fuck it up. And she does lightning stuff.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
That's where my mind went with the split.
Because in my head, everyone who didn't go into that building
Is the infiltration team.
Yeah, plus one or two. Because there was more than just half of them that went in. Right?
No, it was... Oh, yeah. But Fern could be either way.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't there.
Yeah.
So it'd be FCG, Orem, Imogen, and Fern.
Yeah. It's a good group. 2 people with charm person and mind power that they could get in and out without causing a ruckus. FCG has the big bomb.
And healing.
And Orem is Orem.
Is Liam.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Dude, claw marks that was with Britannish in the courtyard.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a werewolf.
Yep.
Or a were creature of some kind. I'm just
100% lycanthrope.
Yeah. Yeah, it will be interesting if they fight them. I think this next episode is going to be largely the race.
Yes.
And
we're going to have, what do we have? We have Ashton is with who? Got Ashton and somebody.
And Dusk, I think.
No, Dusk is with Orem trying to hijack a third vehicle.
Oh.
I think it's Ashton and Laudna, Imogen and Chetney. And then FCG, I can't remember where he is. Because Fern is pretty much by herself. A one-woman ambush squad, as Liam described it.
Yeah, and the only thing that I could remember about FCG was he was going to be...
He wanted to be R2-D2.
And skiing behind.
Yeah.
One of them. MVP?
Ashton. Allison. He had the quips, which he had all the contacts to make things happen.
Yeah.
He was the face in the big interaction.
Yeah.
Setting it up for his... It goes to Taliesin for me with Ashton.
Same. Although emotionally, I think I want to give it to Marisha again. Yes.
And that's perfect. We'll award it. We'll make it a couples award,
dude. If it's Ashton and Laudna on the bike, I mean, Hold On Loosely's gonna play.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But we will talk about it next week. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, guys.